with all the bits, juice with all the bits, it's a podcast.
Hi everyone, I'm Meg and you are listening to what is going to be the last ever episode of Juice with All the Bits. So Juice with All the Bits started about a year ago by myself and current apprentice Daniel, who has been my co-host. And now Juice with All the Bits is changing, it's evolving. We're creating a new podcast which combines Apprentify, the Juice Academy and Netcom. So it's a really exciting education-based podcast which is starting next year. And we've got two brand new co-hosts. We've got the lovely Ryan and Maisie who are here with me today.
Hi.
And Ryan and Maisie, do you want to tell a little bit about yourselves, introduce you so we can get you ready for the new podcast?
So I'm Ryan, as Meg said. I'm currently on the content creation apprenticeship with Juice and I'm in cohort 39.
Amazing. I'm Maisie and I'm also on the content creation apprenticeship scheme and I am in cohort 40, so just a few months after you, I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Amazing. So Ryan and Maisie are going to continue co-hosting this last episode, so I'll leave them to introduce you to the exciting topic that we've got for you today. So congratulations, and I can't wait to see all the amazing co-hosting you're doing over the next year.
Can't wait.
Hey everyone, so today's podcast episode is all about the Juice Academy's brand new apprenticeship, which is the Fundraiser Level 3 programme. And today we are joined by an expert in that field, the lovely Jane Montague. Hi Jane.
Thank you, hello.
How are you?
I am very well, thank you. Better for that introduction, thank you.
No problem.
Amazing. So we want to run through the scheme today and so our audience know about what it's all about.
Okay.
So can you start by giving our listeners an overview of what the Fundraiser Level 3 apprenticeship scheme is about?
The fundraising apprenticeship scheme is the most fantastic initiative because it really opens up fundraising, which is a very lively, innovative sector, and opens it up to brand new people. Before it had been very restrictive in terms of recruitment requirements, but now this fundraising apprenticeship means that the young people who are very cause driven, this absolutely fits with your generation, is really going to appeal to them, and they are going to make such a massive difference. It's going to be wonderful.
Amazing. It sounds exciting.
So just on that kind of suitability topic, who would you say is like the ideal candidate for this programme?
Absolutely. Gen Z, Gen Z, however you want to say it. I'm old school, so I'm going to say Gen Z. And we know that generation is very much cause motivated. You are very vocal in you and visionary in what you do. And you also have a really great attitude to life. So you want the work-life balance. You also want to progress. You want to learn. You want to do your best. There is an energy. There is an inquisitiveness. There's a wish to do well. And that is absolutely open, and everybody is welcome. We want to welcome as many different groups to make it really diverse, to get really involved, to hear all the different voices that are out there, so that we can grow the sector and make it better.
That's really encouraging.
That is really encouraging.
Yeah.
Sounds really, really good for everyone. I feel like that will interest a lot of young audiences as well, and anyone that's interested in that section.
Absolutely. I think there was always the requirement that you had to have a degree to go into fundraising. It was always a requirement.
Yeah.
Anybody can you can have a PhD from Cambridge in astrophysics. It doesn't mean that you can connect with people and speak to people, and that is very much what it's about. It's about understanding that person that sat opposite you, talking about your cause, but also listening to what they're saying and trying to match the two. Sharing values is really important. So anybody can learn how to process data and read the data and do the analytical tool side of it, but it's about emotion as well as logic. It's being able to tap into that.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think's the most unique factor, though, for this apprenticeship scheme, if you could pick one?
Oh, it's hard to pick one because there are just so many of it.
Yeah.
What I love about this apprenticeship scheme that we're going to start up in January is that there are many different voices that are going to be there to impart their wisdom. But actually, they are such professionals that we want to learn from the apprentices as well. Everybody comes out of this as a winner. I think as well it's very interactive. So they are live lessons online, remote lessons, but we're going to have in-person sessions too. And already we had our first meeting with the apprentices this morning, and
Great.
already we're bonding. Already there's
Did
an
it go
absolute
well?
group. Oh,
Yeah.
it was just amazing.
Was it?
Honestly, I was saying before to Sandy that actually I had to have a nap afterwards because one, I'm old, and two, it was just the energy in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, even though it was on Zoom, just phenomenal. We are going to have the most fantastic cohort. Really excited.
That's so good to hear.
Great. So in terms of the course then, what are the kind of main topics that someone who is on the fundraising programme will be learning?
It's going to be really varied, really varied. The end project is called a case of support. Now, usually that's an internal document, actually, where you lay out the information about the charity. So everybody within the charity can understand it and all sing from the same song sheet. But what the apprentice gets to do is so exciting because they get to put together their own campaign. They get to go out and pitch it to maybe about an event or a corporate or a community fundraising group. That's their baby. They are instantly making a difference within their charity. It's something that they are going to go forward with and it will instantly make an impact. They're already improving the charity, they're doing that. They'll also be putting together a portfolio. Now, this portfolio is going to talk through all of their experience, so we need to make sure that we're covering a lot of topics. So first of all, we're going to learn about the third sector, how it's looking at, what the trends are, so they can immerse themselves in that and can understand that. They need to get to know their charity because they're going to be talking about it to people. But the people that they speak to, everybody, as humans, we all respond to stories. So we are going to be teaching them storytelling
Oh, that sounds
to understand what people want to hear.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we're going to teach them how to listen. Yes, you need to ask the questions, but you need to hear what is being said. And then think about how you can adapt that so that you can present the best offering to that potential supporter. We're also going to be looking at things such as a variety of specialties. So we're going to be getting an insight from key specialists that are out there in the sector who are renowned. I'm a generalist. I'm very good at what I do. I'm a generalist. We're going to be hearing from the absolute experts in community fundraising, in corporate fundraising, in events, in legacies, mid-major donors, trust and foundation. So this also gives an insight so the apprentice can sit there and go, actually, I really like that idea. That, to me, might be the way that I want to go. We're going to teach something called relationship fundraising. And it's how you connect and it's how you talk. So the listening skills, the hearing skills that we're talking about, that is absolutely fundamental. How do we deliver that story? How do we learn about them? How do we get to know them? Then we're going to have the, maybe for some interesting, for others maybe not so much, but equally as valuable. It's the data side of it, how we look at that data and understand it. So we know who we target our communications to. What types of communications, written, verbal, social media, we're going to be covering all of that. This is a really fast-paced industry. We're also going to be looking at gift aid, taxes. But we need to understand that. I'm delivering that bit.
Yeah.
I still don't understand it.
Nobody understands it, and that's what HMRC wants. But that's a different story.
We need to understand
We
it.
need to understand it.
Yeah.
So we are taking them on a journey. We're thinking about supporter experience. If you think about what you would respond to, if somebody came up to you, don't know them at all, and said, "Hi, I work for this charity. Can you give us some money?" Would you respond to that positively?
Probably
Probably
not.
not. Keep walking.
But exactly. But if somebody came up to you and went, "Hi, I'm Jane. Who are you? Tell me about yourself,"
Yeah.
and listened, and listened, and listened, and asked interested questions, suddenly you form this bond. And then you can bring in the ask, as it's known, and maybe pitch. But that might be a little while. But what we're going to say a lot is please and thank you, except we turn it around and we're likely going to say thank you before we say please. That's a very, very tricky skill.
Interesting.
Loving these business savvy
know.
tips today.
It's like life lessons.
Yeah, well, when you're 53, you'll impart a few yourself, but there we go.
It sounds like the apprentices are going to be in very good hands.
Yes,
so.
definitely.
I hope so. We've put a lot of work into the design of the apprenticeship. So we've looked at the points, the skills that the apprenticeship programme needs to demonstrate and the apprentice needs to show. But also I've been and spoken to a number of senior people out there in the third sector and say, okay, what do you want to see from your apprentices? What do you want to have them come in and be able to do? And all of them have said they need the people skills. So this is great to have that and to be able to add that into the programme. But what we're also going to be doing as well is making sure that those apprentices are given really useful skills and abilities so they can go straight in and start doing a job. They can roll their sleeves up and very much feel part of that team.
And it'll be quite a rewarding opportunity after, won't it?
Oh, you are from day one changing somebody's life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier. I mean, just the very nature of working for a charity, you're learning whilst on the apprenticeship, and then you're also actively doing good as well.
And making a difference to
Yeah,
the world.
for sure.
Absolutely making a difference.
Yeah.
From day one, you're making an impact. You are changing somebody's life. And that is so rewarding. You're changing the world. You are,
Wow.
you know, superheroes
Big statement.
coming in.
Yeah.
No
But
pressure.
you are. No pressure at all, none whatsoever. But you are changing the world.
Yeah.
And the apprentices have been chosen because they can see the potential
Yeah.
in those apprentices. It's really exciting.
Oh, it sounds really exciting. And you mentioned that the apprentices get to do campaigns and projects themselves. What kind of support will they get along the way through the whole time that they'll be with you?
A lot. We are all there to help them to succeed. So the myself as lead tutor, the guest tutors that are there, but we have a fantastic team of development coaches as well that will be coming in and doing regular visits with the charities. That is Dawn and Rebecca. But also, and what really came home to me this morning when we're speaking to the apprentices and their line managers, is how much these line managers want this to work as well. And they are right there by their side. One of the things I said this morning is it's a safe haven. There's no such thing as a stupid question. You are here to learn, ask away. And we are absolutely there to support them every step of the way.
Oh, that's amazing. And you can tell there's a lot of passion there. So,
Oh, huge amount.
and it will reflect in the students as well, which will be amazing.
The cohort, you couldn't have a better cohort. They're a dream team. Absolutely are. Yeah.
So say that someone is coming to the end of their apprenticeship and they've done amazingly, fantastically. What kind of career opportunities or what kind of pathway would someone be looking at post-apprenticeship?
Do you know, it really is, you can open so many doors because there are so many transferable skills. So you could go through the charity, you could go into very senior management, you could specialise in a particular income stream, a CEO. You could be poacher turned gamekeeper and go and work for the regulatory bodies if you want to. I hope nobody's going to work for HMRC. I'm sure they're lovely people, but there is so much that's available to you there. You can become an independent consultant. Trusts and foundations. The world is your oyster. Absolutely it is.
Loads of opportunities.
Loads of opportunities and ever expanding.
Right, this is a very big question.
Okay.
What is the best thing about working in the charity sector?
Oh,
The best thing, if you had to pick one, what would it be?
do you know, I've been in the charity sector for far longer than I should admit to, but I think the most inspirational thing that I saw was when the pandemic hit and lockdown hit, because suddenly there was no income. And I watched these different income generation teams, these different fundraisers go, right, okay, well, we're not going to shut the doors, so we've got to change it. And they turned it. It was absolutely awe-inspiring to watch that. There is such passion, such commitment to professionalism and quality. There are sparks flying everywhere. They're really innovative. They never give up, and they absolutely go forward. They want to learn, they want to develop, they want to bring people with them. But it is that change that you bring about to the world, to a person's life, that can absolutely change their lives. And that is so rewarding to see, even at the end of a very, very long day.
So what would you say is the long-term impact then of that the fundraising program will have on this industry, and how will that kind of contribute to an individual's growth in this sector?
Oh, this is enormous. The potential for this is huge. We are going to be home-growing talent, bringing in these really inspiring people to inform us as much as we're going to inform them. I think that because that generation is so cause-driven, is so open to personal development, to continuous learning, to making an impact, this is life-changing. I know that sounds really quite an exaggeration, but it genuinely is. And you have to think about the call on services for charities is now at such a peak that we've never seen before, with income coming down because of the cost of living crisis, because we're just coming out of the pandemic. They're going to bring their fresh ideas. They're going to bring their new perspective. That's going to change the face of how we raise funds. We are a professional industry. We are businesses, absolute businesses. And we need to think of it in that way. And these ideas, the ability to respond and to innovate, honestly, it's world-changing, it's life-changing.
Exciting
It's
times
really
ahead.
exciting, yeah. It's a lot of potential in this sector, and not many people are aware of it, because I wasn't as aware of it as
Myself,
I am.
no.
No, I feel very inspired after this conversation.
You know, when you've had a bad day at work, you can still go home and go, I did good today. But we're also going to give support as well in terms of resilience, in terms of work planning. So you know how to deal with a day that perhaps you've had more knockbacks than positives. There's no such thing as failure. There's no such thing as a mistake. You learn from it. It's the best learning tool that there is. And we're going to teach you how to work with that. But it doesn't matter what you've done that day, you have helped somebody.
I always try and remember that, like being in an apprenticeship program myself is like part of the program is learning after your mistakes, and you know you're there to learn at the end of the day, and every mistake that you make, it's only going to arm you better in the future going forward. So
mistakes are a good thing, I think.
Totally.
You learn, and you'll probably never do that again. You might do it worse, you might do it better. It's all about the learning process. And I feel like definitely our mentors and our managers, they want you to make a mistake so that you learn from it, otherwise you'll just stay like that the whole time.
It's also about recognising the wins. Because sometimes on a day when we have had a good win, but then something negative happens, that's the thing that we focus on. Let's focus on the positives and turn it around so even the negatives are positives.
Now that comes to the end of our questions. It's been lovely to have you here today, and we've learnt so much.
We certainly have. Thank you.
And I'm sure our audience will appreciate everything that you've given, advice, you've given help for the whole industry, so it's been amazing. For those that are interested in applying for this apprenticeship, there will be information on the screen at the end, so make sure to check that out, and there'll be everything you need to know there. So yes, thank you guys for listening, and it's been a pleasure again, Jane, for having me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, guys. This episode's been fantastic. Thank you, Jane. So don't forget to go and check out all the previous episodes if you haven't seen them already. And me and Maisie will see you on the new podcast in 2024.
Yes, you will. We'll see you there. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.